Welcome to video 5, lesson 5 of Learn to Read Music Without Playing an Instrument. Today, we are really going to start reading music like you would see in a piano book or any other type of music. The first thing we need to think about is how does a clef tell us what pitch is represented by the lines and spaces on a staff? One thing to keep in mind is without a clef, the lines and spaces of a staff could be any pitch we don't know. Here we see a grand staff. The G clef circles the G line. So the G clef is also called the treble clef. The reason it is called the G clef is because it circles the G line. I know it's a little bit of circular reasoning, but this is the connection. The second line of the staff, we always count lines and spaces of a staff from the bottom up. So the second line of a staff that has a treble clef or a G clef is the G line. You can see it in orange here. In a staff that has the bass clef, you can see that the bass clef sort of circles on, but mostly has those two dots that look like a colon. There's a line that runs between the dot. There's one on the top, one on the bottom. That line is the F line. That's why we call the bass clef the F clef. Again, a little bit circular, but that's the connection. Here you can see the pitches on a staff going up from the respective lines. So on the treble staff, the G clef staff, starting with the second line from the bottom, we have G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And on the bass staff with the F clef, we start on the fourth line from the bottom, F, and going down, E, D, C, B, A, G. So if you can say your alphabet, at least the first 7 letters forwards and backwards, you have a good head start on learning to read music. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. You may notice here that there are some lines and spaces that are not labeled, such as the first line of the G staff or the fifth line of the bass clef staff. Here I have labeled them. So on the top, if we start on the G line and go down, we have F and E. The first line of the treble staff is E. On the bottom, starting with the F line and going up, we have G-A. The fifth line of the bass clef staff is A. As a side note, clefs will always mark a line. So if you ever get confused and you're like, I'm not sure what the G clef is circling, I'm not sure where the dots of the F clef are, what they're marking, it is always, always, always a line. This is true for all clefs. You can keep going up and down on the staff using the spaces above and below a staff. So we'll see here on the G clef staff, the space below the first line is D. The space on top above the fifth line is G. And then on the bass staff, the bass clef staff, the space below is F and the space above is B. Hopefully, this is illustrating to you why you can't just learn, well, the second line is always G, because that's not true, because it really depends on which clef is on the staff. So you do have to learn each staff, each clef staff differently and learn the pitches independently. I know this seems like a lot of rote memorization. If you're not actually playing an instrument or singing, it is just memorizing. Even when you do learn to play an instrument or sing, when you're learning to read music in that process, there is some memorizing that goes on, but it's a little more fun. Doesn't feel like just rote memory because you're doing something with it. But if you don't play an instrument or sing and want to learn to read music, it is certainly doable. It just takes a little more boring, busy work. Well, not busy work, but repetitive work. Let's say that. Do you remember ledger lines? They create more spaces and lines to indicate pitches above and below a staff. So on the very left side, you can see we have an E on a ledger line below the bass staff. This E is the first ledger line, then going up the space, we have F. Keep on going up, and then we reach a ledger line in the middle between these two staffs with a blue C on it. This C can be for the bass staff coming up or down, or on the treble staff, usually going up. So this C here in the middle is called middle C. Makes sense. And it can belong to either staff, just depending on how the music is written. All the way on the right-hand side, we have one ledger line with an A on it, and then a B in the space above the ledger line. The bonus material looks a lot more at ledger lines. Now, this graphic or illustration is probably getting hard to read exactly where each letter is. Hopefully that illustrates why we don't just label the letters on a staff and we use other types of notation, because this is really hard to read. So here I've used notes, the symbol note, to mark the notes, the pitches. And again, you can see that in the middle, we have middle C, which belongs to both the G clef staff and the F clef staff. The bonus material does have downloadable graphics to help you learn and review this. But for now, let's practice, because at this point, you've learned a lot, and it's just practice, 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 practice to get fluent at everything we've learned so far. What pitch is this that is circled in blue? That's right, it's middle C. And this one, the green line, F. Yep, clicked too fast there. And the orange line, which, by the way, these colored lines do not exist in written music. This is just for teaching purposes. But this is the G line. Two more. What are these pitches, thinking about this as being on a staff with a G clef? All right. So on a G clef, this would be G, B, G, F, A, G, B, A, B, C, D, C. This is an excerpt from an actual piece of music that I wrote. Now let's look at that same excerpt, but read it with an F clef. All right, so with an F clef, these notes would be B, D, B, A, C, B, D, C, D, E, F, E. And this is where singing or learning to play an instrument would help you actually hear what all of these letter names mean. All right, practice, practice, practice. Next time, we'll learn the notes and rests that indicate rhythm. We are taking one more step. I am so happy you are learning to read music.